Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your buddy here, Uncle Bruce from Stock Markets with Bruce. It is now after hours. It is Tuesday, June the 11th, 2024. The markets have been closed for a while. We're still trading in the after hours market. We're at about 7:30 Eastern time right now. We have about 30 minutes left, and we'll be done trading for this evening. And then the next time we trade the stock will be tomorrow morning, pre-market, and then at I guess 9:30 Eastern, we open again and start to trade. Now, developments have taken place here this afternoon that you should be aware of, and some interesting information is starting to come out yet again on GameStop shares. Let's take a look at this chart right here. I'm going to pop myself down here. So you can see here on this chart, and this chart is a little misleading. Let me just double check if I have something else for you. 1 minute. I think I might have a better chart for you that might be a little more accurate. Hang on 1 second. Bear with me here. Let's pop this one up instead. Here it is. Okay, this chart. It's the same chart I just showed you, but I'm updating it for just a few minutes ago. We're now trading at 30.43 to 30.50 a share in the after hours. You can see that with that big bold number there, 30.43. If you look right above my finger here, this is where the stock closed tonight on the New York Stock Exchange. That was a price of 30.49, up $5.66 on volume of about 145 million. Take a look at this chart, though. Notice at 10 o'clock this morning, you'll see a red line going right across the chart. That's the break-even line. This morning, the shares opened down on the session, and they were sitting as low as 22.79 this morning. And then we had a climb over the break-even line, and then we backed off, and we hovered around $25 all the way to 12 p.m. to almost 2 p.m., not quite to 2 p.m. Then you'll begin to see that shot, that line going up just before 2 p.m., and it backed off a bit, another shot higher, a little backing off, another shot higher. It's kind of like up 2 steps, down 1, up 2 steps, down 1, all the way along till the bell at 4 p.m. where we closed at 30.49. After the after hours, stock slumped a little bit and then popped a little bit and gyrated a bit, and here we are now at 30.43 or so in the after hours. All right, now the news that caused the stock to pop just before 2 p.m. came out, and here it is. I believe I got part of this news announcement. They've disclosed, GameStop has disclosed on June the 7th that it filed a prospectus supplement with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission to offer and sell up to a maximum of 75 million shares of its common stock from time to time through an at-the-market program. The company sold the maximum number of shares registered under the ATM program for aggregate gross proceeds before commissions and offering expenses of approximately $2.137 billion. So $2.137 billion. Now, I want you to remember this number of $2.137 billion. I want you to remember that number because a couple of days ago, the company had only sold 45 million shares. And the thinking was at the time that the shares had had a run and had backed off, and the company wanted to sell some stock for additional cash while the shares were in the 20s. But by the time they filed the at-the-money offering and got it done, they did sell 45 million shares at an average price of $20.73. They raised $933 million. But this $75 million offering you just had me read to you, this means they've added 30 million more shares to the original 45 million to now issue a total of 75 million. So they concluded that portion of the deal today. And that means, what that means is they've raised, out of that $2.1 billion I was telling you about, 1.2 billion of it was just completed with only 30 million shares. Now, remember, they sold 45 million shares to get 933 million. Now they're selling 30 million shares to get 1.2 more billion. They sold these shares, the 30 million, at $40 a piece. They pulled off $40.13 on the completion of their at the money sell on this stock. The street was trading today at a low of 22.79 today. So we were trading at 22.79, and the company was about to come out with an announcement. We just sold 30 million shares at $40 a share. We've raised 2.1 billion extra dollars in our treasury. They now have over 3.2 billion in the bank. GameStop now has $3.2 billion in cash. They're going to start hauling in about 160 million in interest on that money, which works out to 40 million every 3 months. Every quarter going forward in time, if they don't do anything with the money, they're going to make a profit of 40 million on the money plus whatever the stores do. And I've been speculating 200 to 300 million a year in actual profits will come out of the stores as they shut down underperforming locations, keep these kinds of stores the performers, and Ryan Cohen and company will have a company generating every quarter up to 75 million from the stores and 40 million from the interest, 115 million a quarter, making this guy really happy, Roaring Kitty, because Roaring Kitty is sitting here right now with this position over here. He's sitting on 5 million shares. If you look at the top line there on that chart, GameStop, he has 5 million shares. He has 120,000 call options, allowing him to buy 12 million additional shares at $20 a share up until June the 21st. So here we are at $30 a share. I'll put myself down here again. We're at $30 a share right now in the after hours. The company just sold 30 million shares at $40 a share. And Kitty is going to be able to buy 12 million shares, has all along been able to do it. He's now more motivated than ever to buy his 12 million shares at $20 a share while they're trading now at 30. And this is assuming we don't go any higher, because I have a suspicion that if he starts to exercise his options, even if he does say 2 million shares every day or so, and then another 2 million and another 2 million, he doesn't have to do them all at one shot. This is going to create a continual squeeze on the short sellers, pushing this stock even higher. And therein lies the question. Now, speaking of short sellers, here's something interesting that came out tonight as well. There's all kinds of information here. Check this out. On the very top of this chart, it says March ex-dividend date. Ignore that. We'll go over here to the where it says short interest. You see that number, 46.54 million, and then beside it, 531.24. That means that on the 31st of May, which is now 11 days ago, there were 46.5 million shares shorted of GameStop. As of yesterday, 2 weeks before that May 31 date, there were 68 million shorted. So it's telling me that in the first run-up of the shares, the first time the shares ran from 10 to 18 to the 20s to the 40, it touched 80, came back. The short interest declined because of the run-up of the stock to 46.5 million, except there was a snapshot taken on the 31st of May, as you can see there. That was the number. 15.12%, by the way, of all the floated stock was shorted. Now, here's the thing to think about now, and that is we just had another run on the stock last week, and we're in the midst of a run right now. And I'm wondering if the short position went down into the 40s, the stock ran up again. It went down to like $18, went up again to the 40s, 67.50 the other day in the evening. Wondered if the short position went up to 80 million and now is coming down again, and was going down as of this morning when the stock hit that $27 level. And now the stock is running again. And I'm wondering if we're catching another band of shorters. It's just nonstop action here on GameStop. All right. Now, for my viewers, A lot of them don't care what GameStop does because they don't own the stock. They used to, they once had it, they were in on the runs. But ever since this channel, we started to concentrate on how to make money in the market by writing stock options. More and more of my viewers have sold their shares and have now turned themselves into option writers. And you can write options on GameStop and make money on these up moves and down moves by being an option writer rather than being a gambler and buying options or trying to buy stock and time stock for these moves. Now, for some of my viewers, they're never going to sell their GameStop shares. They were GameStop shares when they found me, and they're GameStop shares today, and they're never letting go. Fair enough. It's all good, except for this one thing. As a shareholder of GameStop and a shareholder of any company out there, as long as you own 100 shares of stock in a publicly traded company, 90% of publicly traded companies, you can write options on these shares. And in the case of GameStop, right now, if you're an owner of 1,000 shares, 100 shares, 2,000 shares, 7,000 shares, 8,000, doesn't matter what the number is, you can write options against your GameStop shares where you could offer your stock for, say, a week or 2 or 3 or 4 as a short-term example. You can go much further out in time, but just in a short-term example, I have viewers who own a couple of thousand shares of GameStop, and they're writing 10 to 20 contracts, which represents 1,000 to 2,000 shares. Each contract is 100 shares. And they're writing call options. They're creating call options to sell into the market, the option market, which is as active as all get up. And I have viewers bringing in $5 in premium to offer to sell their shares for like 2 to 3 weeks at $10 to $15 higher than where we're trading at, $40 to $45 a share. We have viewers on this channel who are offering stock up to $50 a share for as little as this Friday, 3 days from now, 8 days from now, 13 days from now, and so on. And they're hauling in $2 to $6 a contract, $200 to $600 a contract. If you have 1,000 shares, you can bring in $2,000 to $6,000 in cash that you can do whatever you want with by offering to sell your shares at $40, $45, $50 a share for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. What my viewers are saying to themselves is, look, if I get taken out on this contract, if they buy my stock from me, they have to pay me that money. They have to give me $40 a share or $50 a share, and I get to keep the premium I already have. The premium might be $5 a share, $5,000, plus I get 50 a share on top of that. I get 55 a share. I'm quite happy to be taken at 55. I'll turn around and buy the stock back, and I'll write now brand new contracts at 60 or 65 or 70, good for 2 or 3 more weeks or a month or 2 months or longer. This is what viewers are learning here from this channel. If you go to my website, stockmarketswithbruce.ca, you'll find my website with all of these classes on how to write options. And if you dare go there, you'll find my homepage, and then you can take a look at the classes available. That's the homepage there. The CA stands for Canada. There's the link for classes, and you just start at number 1. Take class number 1, class number 2. There's 17 of them. Once you've taken a couple of these classes, you might feel that you're ready to start writing a couple of options already, which will pay for the classes. And you'll take 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 at your leisure and learn all the option writing techniques that are out there, which include cash secured puts, poor man covered calls, spreads. This might be all foreign to you. Don't worry about it. The classes are in plain English, like my channel here, and you can take a class whenever you want and buy one at a time. You might want to consider that if you take a look at my channel for that. And anyway, in any event, here's where we're at right about now, just a few moments ago, $30.43. We'll see how the market opens tomorrow morning. GameStop has raised now $2.13 billion on top of the billion plus they had. They're looking pretty good. Ryan Cohen is sitting on $3.2 billion in cash. Roaring Kitty is sitting on 5 million shares and 120,000 contracts. That allows him to buy 12 million shares at $20. If he starts exercising those options, we could well have a run on the stock because I don't believe the broker who wrote those contracts for Roaring Kitty has the 12 million shares. They're going to have to put a call out on existing shorters to buy back their stock so they can then turn around and give Roaring Kitty his shares for this deal. We'll follow all this every day. Join me live 8 to 8:30 in the morning Eastern Time for Gold Bagel members of this channel exclusively, 8:30 till 10:30 Monday to Friday when the markets are open. Join me live right here on this channel. We'll follow this story and the whole market and talk about how you can make money writing options. It's good to see you. Have a great evening. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye for now.